Howdy brewers, welcome to part 3 of designing your own beer. Part 1 we looked at books to help with the brewing process and recipe design. Part 2 we looked at some websites for beer styles, different flavours and also ingredients that help impart those flavours. And part 3 we're going to put it all together using some brewing software. So remember, the most important part beer recipe design process is picking the flavors you want in your beer. So I know that I want to go for a bit of a session IPA, say 4.5% or something like that. So I've selected my equipment, which is I use a Grainfather, and I'm using the Beersmith app. I've added 1 teaspoon of gypsum. That'll help in the mash water bring the pH down, and also the sulfate helps bring out more of the hops. And I've added, I think it'll be about 0.3 of a gram of ascorbic or citric acid, and that'll also help bring the pH down for me because the pH of the water where I live is high. I've just selected some base malt, being the pale and the wheat malt. Wheat malt gives a really nice mouth feel. Also helps with tight white head formation. And I've added 5% each of the Gladfield Aurora and the Gladfield biscuit malt. The reason why I've chosen Aurora is because it gives a bit of a fruitcake flavour, and the biscuit malt because it helps it finish dry. So the other flavours I want to go with the Aurora malt are passion fruit and a bit of lime. So I've had a look in the freezer, and I've got some hops out there that do that, which are Galaxy and Motueka. So I've just got to adjust the alpha acids. I want to keep them in for 10 minutes during the boil, and I'll do the same with the Motueka. Now I'm only doing a 30-minute boil tomorrow. So I'm going to use some high alpha acids, which are Galena. I also I'm a big fan of first wort hopping because I find it gives a much smoother bitterness. So I'll have to check the bitterness, but I think 10 grams will be more than enough. I now want to move on to my Whirlpool hops, and I want to do them for 20 minutes, and I'll do the same for each hop, for the Motueka and the Galaxy. Okay, so we've added all of our hops, our yeast. I've also thrown in some yeast nutrient and polyclar or brew bright. That helps all the proteins coagulate when you're chilling the wort. So in here I've got the bittering edition, so that's the first edition. Then these Galaxy Motueka at 10 minutes, they're flavour editions, and these two here, Steep and Whirlpool, they're a little bit of flavour, mostly aroma hops. The reason why I say a little bit of flavour is because I'll be steeping from pretty much boiling, which means a lot of alpha acids will come out. It won't just be the aroma oils. Some of those will get converted into bitterness units. And then purely aroma hops, maybe a little bit of flavour from the dry hop, and I'll dry hop for 5 days. I'm increasing the weight of each of these hop additions because I want more aroma than anything to come through from this session IPA. So you'll see down here where things are at. So it says the bitterness is 33.7, and if you want, go by these brackets here. They're a good guide to go against the style guidelines. I may make some adjustments because I don't know if I want my beer to be that bitter. I definitely want the flavour and aroma hops, the Galaxy Motueka, to shine through, but I might reduce the amount of amount of Galena hops that I put in, or bittering additions. So another thing you need to look at is the mash, how you want your mash to look. So tomorrow I'll do two-step mash, and that brings out the beta and alpha amylase. I'll spend more time in the beta amylase rest at 64 degrees, because that'll help the beer finish a bit drier, and the 20 minutes at 71 degrees will help give it a bit of body, which I definitely want, because I want the Aurora and biscuit malts to shine a bit. Alright, so and last one, the yeast I'm using is American Ale 2. I just cultured it, finished it yesterday. So because I've recultured it, I know I've got plenty of yeast. It's a 2 litre starter. There'll be plenty of yeast in there, and you plug that in, and from there you go to the mash. It gives you protein for your first mash addition, 14.3 litres of water, and sparge with 18.39 litres of water. If you know your dead space, you type that in here as well. Dead space for the grain fail is 3.5 litres. And you go to your session, and that's where you plug in your results. Once you've done all that, you save it, and brew steps, and that goes through the whole day. Create a yeast starter, clean and prepare brewing equipment, total water needed, mash water. Then it goes into the mash steps, first wort hops when you add them, boiling, steeping, whirlpool hops, and then add the yeast, and you plug in all your results. Alright, so I hope it's been a pretty good 3-part series on designing your own beer recipe. Key takeaways: work out what you want your beer to taste like. Then go and select your ingredients, and pick the ingredients that match the flavours that you're going for. And lastly, to assist with your brew day, use some brewing software. So I use Beersmith, but there's also Brewer's Friend, which is a free online one. Alright, well, that sums up designing your own beer, and tomorrow I'll put this down. Until next time, happy brewing.